And we're back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rollsicle. My name's Nathaniel. I'm one of the hosts here at the channel, and I'm kind of joined by my lovely co-host. She's off there being wonderful in the living room right over that way, but she's going to sleep. So hopefully I'm not being too loud in this video. We are recording this rather late. That being said, we are here with another Commander deck unboxing, which is super exciting. We started Bloomburrow in the last one with the Family Matters, and now we are expanding into the halfway point for Bloomburrow with Animated Army. We have a make, trash, do, smash. Keep it simple. That's how I like it to be. All right. Battle your friends with powerful creatures and spectacular spells in Commander, matched to its popular multiplayer format. One critter's trash is another one's treasures with Bloomburrow, who's a very popular commander, especially when it first came out, who animates artifacts and enchantments into mighty elementals. Ramp up your mana and throw down some expensive spells that burn with chaotic fury. Bloomburrow, Bard of the Brambles. Bloomburrow loves telling riveting tales about his collection of curiosities, especially when his elemental magic brings trinkets to life. I'm super stoked just to break into this. As I do, I want to quickly say, if you guys haven't joined the channel, subscribe, like, comment, any and all of it is greatly appreciated. It means a ton to us. We're a small channel here, and we'd love to have you join the Rollsicle family that is slowly but surely growing. We are probably at or past the 200 subscriber mark, and we would love for you to help us break even bigger thresholds. All right, take them out with the trash. I love that as a little catch here. Okay, so let's break into the commander deck. I do not have a lovely fiance here to throw the trash at, but I will throw the trash off screen anyways. Bam! We have our coveted commander deck box in here. Best part of the box. Best part of the whole package, really. Then in here we do get the actual commander deck itself. If we could squeeze that out. Come on. Bam, there it is. And the lore, which we will be reading. More trash with some tokens if you need that. If you're brand new to Magic, it's good for you. We'll set these off to the side for now. And then let's break into this. We get our deck box, which is just a functional little kind of card stocky deck box. It's not. I joke that it's the best value in the thing. It's not worth a whole lot. But it does organize your decks. If you have a bunch of precons, if you have, 5 or more, I can see how you can get confused between them. So, we have a lot more than that. So, good to have these boxes. It's what I store them in. I mean, I can't spend money on deck boxes. That would make me go broke with how many we have. More trash. And the coveted collector booster sample pack, which could actually contain some really crazy cards in Bloomburrow. But yeah, there it is. We'll plop that off to the side. All right, so let's take a look at the lore, and then we'll get into the deck. So put that off screen again. All right, lore time, lore time. Here we go, it's lore time. All right, we'll let you see the art of Bloomburrow, and then we will... There's the art of Bloomburrow, looking all fancy. And then we'll actually read the lore here. Pretty big lore. All right. The Ringtail Bard, the Trinket Master, and most recently, the Omen Trotter. These are just a small sample of the monikers Bloomburrow has earned over the course of his journeys. He's traveled all corners of Bloomburrow and now beyond, collecting trinkets, braving the elements, and delighting in foreign cuisines. Bloomburrow has gained wisdom and confidence from his many harrowing adventures, but he won't deny that unfamiliar words present a whole new level of danger. Thankfully, he scrapes by with his quick wit and silver tongue, often pilfering a souvenir in the process. Thran artifacts unearthed on Dominaria, crystals mined from the wilds of Ikoria, or filigree gears of a Gurapur, I hope, construct, to name a few. His crowning achievement, he'll add with a grin, is a hedron plucked from the highest point of the Akalm? I don't know. Skyclave. Though adventure will always be a lure to Bloomburrow, he adores his home plane and often returns to spin tales to a rapt audience. His elemental magic brings the world around him to life, animating stories using his collection. Every artifact has a spirit, he'll say, and his magic manifests that spirit in elemental form. Some are tame and friendly, a hearth's spark, a pasture's breeze, while others are the crack of an avalanche or the blaze of a wildfire. The only thing that eclipses the amount he's collected is the amount that he's lost. If ever an odd trinket is discovered in a bizarre, out-of-place location, it's likely that Bloomburrow accidentally left it there. I love the lore. I love the flavor. I think they killed it with this set. Let's take a look at playing the deck. Bellow awakens the might of elemental calamity. Play powerful artifacts and enchantments, then animate them into indestructible creatures with Bellow's ability to deal serious damage. This deck is full of ways to accelerate your mana to be able to cast those expensive artifacts and enchantments. Once all the pieces are in place, squash your opponents underfoot with the power of your awakened elementals, calamity beasts, and titanic creatures from across the multiverse. Very powerful, very cool. I did not know, I heard that this was turning artifacts and enchantments into creatures. Didn't know it gives them indestructible. Much, much better. Much better. I was worried it wouldn't do that. So here we go. I am going to have to sleeve while we're doing this, so just bear with me. It's going to be a bit of an extra long video because of that, but we are going to make it work. We're going to get through this, and we are going to like it. All right, but I might spend a little bit less time talking about each card because of the fact that I am sleeving as well. Because I am, as I mentioned, unfortunately, not joined by my lovely co-host. I mean, she is in the room. She is present. She's not leaving Rossicle, but she is sleepy, and honestly, who can blame her? Sleep is a fun thing. Sleep is powerful. All right, took us forever, but we finally got into this thing. And let us take a look at our tokens. So first of all, you have how to play. I mean, it's useful to people that have never played before, but we know how to play. So let's take a look at the tokens here. Tokens in there. So we will plot those lands back on top. And we'll take a look. We have the City's Blessing, very pretty City's Blessing. A Beast, 3/3 Beast, 4/4 Beast, 4/4 Beast, 1/1 Saproling, a couple of those. Prosperous Bandit, which is a 1/1 version of Prosperous Bandit. So cute. Another 3/3 Beast, flipping over now. The Adorable Treasure, of which we have, wow, 5. A 1/1 Hamster, which is cute. A 2/2 Cat. Oh, 2 of those. And a couple more hamsters. So that is our tokens. Love to see it. Gonna set those off to the side. And then here we are. We're going to get into the deck and sleeving here. So I'm gonna scoot in. And we're gonna get into the business here. So we are going to hopefully sleeve these up as fast as possible. These are the Forest. So this is the first design for Forest. I'm not going to show it until it's a different design. I mean, I'm going to show it because I'm not taking it off the... Okay, I'm flipping these every time. No, I'm not. Okay, cool. They're already in the correct spot. All right. Means there's a lot of Forest because I know they like to give us the same amount of each. So this is the other art for the Forest. I mean, to be fair, it is a 2-color deck. So you got to run... Gotta is relative, but you're going to probably run a good number of each basic in a 2-color deck. I do love seeing Commander get more 2-color, support. I mean, I think 3-color is where a lot of people lie as their kind of favorite amount of colors. When you're in 4 colors, you kind of got to justify why you're not running that 5th color. This is one of the mountains. Very pretty. But 3 colors, it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not running 2 of them. But then 2 colors, it's kind of like, okay, well, you are branching out from being a monocolor deck. And then monocolor is like its own whole ball game. And then, of course, 5 colors is also its own whole ball game. So, and there are reasons to do both of those. Is the other mountain. I mean, I've never ran a 5-color deck unless... Well, okay, I've ran the Eldrazi one that is from Modern Horizons 3. Obviously, we opened that one on the channel. So that is actually like a 5, or if you count colorless, 6-color deck. I don't like counting that as I don't like calling it a 6-color deck. But obviously there are... Oh, and we're into actual cards. Great. So we're going to set these off to the side over here. We're just going to go through them card by card. So we started out here with a Reliquary Tower. Love to see it. It gives you no maximum hand size in the form of a land. Okay, next we have the beautiful Command Towers. I'm very happy to have 4 of these because I'm going to assume that's what it looks like in every single one. So again, I am very happy with the custom art for command towers and stuff like that. Tranquil Thicket is a cycling forest, essentially, enters tapped. And then we have Forgotten Cave, which is a cycling mountain, enters tapped. Then we have Evolving Wilds. Well, we have a bit of like a beaten up card there on the top corner, or top edge. Evolving Wilds, again, I feel like we've seen this art a bunch, so nothing too impressive there, in my opinion. This is the Bounce Land for Gruul. Interesting. Path of Ancestry, which I would love to see get a different art. I need to remember to hold these cards up more. Terramorphic Expanse, which has just a beautiful art here. And I assume, I guess it's not guaranteed because we're only 2 colors, but if we do get a Exotic Orchard, the art on that was just beautiful. All right, they did throw in the Talisman for this being a 2-color deck, so that's nice. I mean, it's not what we're wanting. Oh my goodness, I didn't even read Bellow's ability. I am falling apart, guys. All right, Bellow is a 3-mana 3/3 that says during your turn, each non-equipment artifact and non-aura enchantment you control with mana value 4 or greater is a 4/4 elemental creature in addition to its other types. And, sorry, I'm like getting all shaky. And has indestructible haste. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Very powerful. Did not realize it said indestructible. It completely changes the game. Completely. And we will set him right here next to the deck. All right, let's keep at it, people. We were making good time. Mind Stone, perfectly fine mana rock. I mean, there's probably better options if the signets are, the signet. There's not more than one. The Soul Ring, which is absolutely beautiful. Water surges in a mysterious crater created eons ago, revered by Batfolk as a nexus for the cosmos. That's really cool. I love the flavor, dude. I love the flavor. Thran Dynamo, great ramp, and of course, 4 mana or more. That's our first thing, turn it into an elemental. Smack the heck out of them with a Thran Dynamo. Felwar Stone's in there for some ramp. I assume we're going to get a Path of Ancestry at some point then. Not Path of Ancestry, Exotic Orchard. Hedron Archive is another it's basically the balanced Soul Ring, right? 4 mana, tap to add 2 colorless rather than Soul Ring, which is 1 mana, tap to add 2 colors. Burnished Heart. I have never seen this art for it. I think it's absolutely adorable. Oh my gosh. If you're ever running Burnished Heart, like run this little like deer toy version of it. That's adorable. Oh, we did run the Signet. Look at that. I was like, see, we need the Signet. So there's the Signet in all its glory. Garruk's Uprising is an interesting one because it's not an enchantment with power 4. Like, I get that it gives your creatures with power 4 or greater, which is all of the elementals, +1/+1. So, like, that is good, question mark. I don't know. I don't know if that needs to be in the deck, honestly. Harmonize to just draw some cards. Like, I'm never going to complain about card draw. And I think that card draw in a green deck can be tough to do. Speaking of Garruk's Uprising, right? Like, we're not going to be triggering that a whole lot. Whenever another creature you control enters power 3 or greater, draw a card. I mean, again, are we running enough creatures with that kind of power in this deck? I don't know yet. I hope so, because then we're basically just double Garruk. I mean, it's called Garruk's Pack Leader, so that kind of makes sense. Beast Within is great removal. Make a 3/3. Like, they get a 3/3, but we did remove something probably a lot worse than a 3/3. I'm putting these off to the side here so that we can start another stack afresh and it not necessarily like fall over everyone. Sakura Tribe Elder, or I believe what the community calls Steve, which lets you sack to go get a land. Again, just some ramp. You can also throw it in front of something as like a chump blocker. Rampant Growth, which I assume is where the word ramp came from, but then people say that ramp existed before that card, so who knows. Abrade is just a kind of popular destroy artifact or deal damage card. Big Score. Discard a card, draw 2, and then create 2 treasure tokens. That's a very powerful card. Here we just have a Mountain Forest that enters tapped. I mean, hey, some color fixing there. Arcane Signet looking pretty as ever, but I'm noticing, like, we haven't seen a ton of enchantments or artifacts with power 4 or greater. Like, where are they at? Thought Vessel. That's not doing it for me. It's not where I'm at. Where are these enchantments and artifacts that are 4 or greater? Alright, Raccoon Mentor, which is when you expend 4, you have to cast... you expend 4 as you spend your 4th total mana to cast spells during your turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on Wonder Mentor. So this thing can get bigger, and it acts as ramp. Absolutely no complaint there. See, again, this is not getting 4/4. Each other non-human creature you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. So, I mean, that's going to help you. It's going to help your other creatures, I guess, get to being 4/4s. I don't know. Cultivate is standard ramp. I mean, standard is relative. But oh my god, it's the most adorable Farseek I've ever seen. Look at Mr. Flufflebottoms. I don't know. That's what I'm calling him. He is so cute. Look at the little sophisticated parent. Oh my gosh, guys. Holy moly. How am I ever going to run the Farseek with the little fairy on it when I could run this? It's got... Look at him. He's just a little chunker. Oh my god. And look at this Explorer. Wow. Oh my goodness, dude. I mean, ramp central. This just has everything you need in a ramp package. Like, you could take the ramp package out of this deck and put it in any deck with green, and you're doing very good. 3 in a red menace. Whenever you expend 4, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. But notably, doesn't have 4 power. This deck could probably do a little bit better here. Okay, here we go. 7 mana, 4/4. It gets +1/+1 for each hamster you control. Whenever it attacks, create 3 red hamster creature tokens. Then it deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of hamsters you control. The rolling hamsphere. I love that. I think that's adorable. And it works pretty well with Bellow, because then you just don't have to crew it. It just becomes its own creature, but it still gets all its like attack triggers. Decimate's pretty good removal, but you do have to have a target for everything. So you better hope that you have something to target with all of your things. Alright, Path of Discovery. Whenever a creature you control enters, it explores, which is pretty good because that has a chance to help it get to power 4 or greater. But again, it's not going to enter that way for like Garooks. Alright, now Goreclaw does have 4 power. Creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast. Whenever it attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn, which is very powerful for all of the other things you're attacking with. Now, notably, we have a Tindershoot Dryad here, which is a like kind of Saproling Go Widey commander. I mean, not commander, but like commander card. Saprolings you control get +2/+2 as long as you have the City's Blessing, and then at the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 green Saproling token. And it has a set. If you control 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing for the rest. Okay. Which is pretty powerful, especially with all the Saprolings you're creating. I mean, that is in each upkeep trigger. So. Look, I'm noticing a lot of non-power 4. I just feel like a lot of this would come out in an upgrade to just replace it with things that have 4 power. 1 in a green, tapped, add a mana of any color. Target land you control becomes a 3/3 elemental creature token with haste. I mean, it's fine, but again, it's a 3/3 and on a 4/4 for different attack triggers and stuff like that. I do think this is a adorable art for Blasphemous Act. Look at that. I mean, I feel like we've seen that in something else. I feel like we saw that in... I want to say Edge of Eternities. This one gets you a free spell sort of land. Eventually cast a free spell if you have power totaling 10, which that we should be able to get to, no problem. Alright, Rootbound Crag. Rootbound Crag enters tapped unless you control a mountain or a forest. It's fine. Never going to complain about the ones that just require you to have the land types. Cinder Glade enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Mossfire Valley is the filter for Gruul. 2 or fewer other lands for Gruul. Copperline Gorge. Interesting. Raging Ravine, which can is 4 mana, 3/3. Whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and you can trigger that multiple times and get multiple +1/+1 counters as like a high level play. Fun fact. Reveal a mountain or forest land. This one's the cycling for 2 of any color Gruul land. Because we do have the single color cyclers in there too. There's our beautiful exotic orchard. Definitely not going to complain if we have 4 of those throughout the decks. This is the pain land for Gruul, so we're getting like what I'm going to imagine is almost like a cycle of pain lands through these decks, which is great. Temple of Abandonment is the scry land. Oh, sorry, Temple of Abandonment. Temple of Abandon is the scry land. This one's pretty good. 7 mana, enters, destroy target permanent. Whenever it's put into a graveyard, return it to its owner's hands, but it's also going to have that mana value to just become a 4/4 every turn, so that's pretty good. And of course, you are getting some card draw off the commander for any of the elementals that get through, so we got to keep that in mind. Here we are. Let's hope we're seeing like all 4 mana plus things from here on out. Gilded Lotus is great. 3 mana of any 1 color. Of course, it is 1 color, but in a 2-color deck, that's really not a problem. Here we go. Primeval Bounty is very powerful. You're just going to go wide or go tall or both. The landfall is great too to just get you some life. It's just a beat down of a card. Bootlegger Stash. Here we go. Look at this. Lands you control have tap, create a treasure token, which is just great for, you know, making permanents, color fixing, all sorts of stuff there. Bootlegger Stash is a very powerful card. And of course, it's an artifact with what we're looking for. Rampaging Ballast is just making 4/4s whenever we play a land. It itself is a 6/6. Oh, look at this. Grothama All Devouring. 5 mana worm. Other creatures have, whenever this creature attacks, you may have it fight Grothama All Devouring. When Grothama leaves the battlefield, each player draws cards equal to the amount of damage dealt to Grothama this turn by sources they control. What an interesting card. So you like throw things at it to kill it and then draw a bunch of cards? I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to think about like, what do you do with that card? I don't know. Kodama of the East Tree. Whenever another permanent you control enters, if it wasn't put onto the battlefield with this ability, you may put a permanent card with equal or lesser mana value from your hand onto the battle. Wow, that's powerful. And just a big creature. Again, that's what I wanted to see. Greater Good is very powerful as well. Sack a creature, draw cards equal to the sack creature's power, then discard 3 cards. So if you sack something huge, of course, you're going to have to discard 3 cards, but you're probably drawing a whole lot more. There it is. We wanted to see unnatural growth in this deck, and there it is. 1 and 4 green. At the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. So it's getting your 4 mana, like it's 5 mana, but 4 mana trigger. So it'll be able to attack, and it's just buffing everything if you do your triggers in the right order. Everything is actually an 8/8. It's a 4/4, which is just great. Asika's Chariot, 4 enters, create 2 2/2 cats. Whenever it attacks, create a token that's a copy of target token you control. That seems pretty good. And then again, it's got 4 mana, so you don't even have to crew it. You're just able to, because right, the cats are supposed to crew it. But, oh, there it is. Didn't even know I was getting a Ghalta. That's awesome. Ghalta is great, right? This is just a really, really great synergy with Greater Good, right? Because you play it out for cheap, you Greater Good it, and you draw pretty much guaranteed 12 cards, discard 3. What are you gonna do? I love the name of this card. Thickest in the Thicket. When it enters, you put X +1/+1 counters on target creature where X is that creature's power. At the beginning of your end step, draw 2 cards if you control the creature with the greatest power or tied for the greatest power, which is just like your goal, right, in this deck, is to make big things, do big things. So I love that card. Trail Tracker Scout. 1 and a green, tap, add 1 mana of any color. Whenever you expend 8, return up to 1 target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. I mean, expending 8's pretty tough to do, but still cool to just have value there, you know? Alright, 4 mana, 3/4. I'd love to see something a little bigger here. Each fungus and sapperling you control has tap to add a green. That's very powerful for sapperlings. I mean, good for fungus too, but sapperlings are an actual commander. Like, type. Create 2 1/1 green sapperling creatures is good too. And at the beginning of your end step, create a sapperling. Yeah, this thing that's just sapperling tribal card right there. I don't know. Does this have like a sub sapperling like vibe? I don't know. 6/5, 5 mana elemental bear. It's adorable. Trample, hideaway 3, hideaway 3. Move the top 3 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, then put the rest on the bottom in a random order, and then you do it again. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, if there are cards exiled with it, you may play one of them without paying its mana cost. Very powerful to just get some free cards. And it's got trample, so like there's a good chance it'll get some damage done. Lotus Cobra is awesome. Landfall, whenever land you control enters, add 1 mana of any color, so you can effectively get double mana off your lands when you're playing them, which is very cool. Warstorm Surge, 6 mana, so it's expensive enough. Whenever a creature you control enters, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Very good removal ability there too, right? Because you play a land with like Rampaging Ballast and you're removing stuff. I mean, it's just going crazy. Another 5 mana enchantment here. If a creature you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent player instead. It's just great, and it's big enough to be an enchantment that becomes a creature. I'm loving the look of this deck now as we continue here. Starstorm is an instant. Deals X damage to each creature. Yeah, I just don't know if this needs to be in the deck. I mean, it's fine. And it's very powerful if all your stuff has indestructible and then you're doing something that deals damage. I do agree that part's really powerful because then you can kind of instant speed board wipe, one-sided board wipe. Sunbird's Invocation, so I'd probably keep it in because of that. 6 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is that spell's mana value. You may cast a spell with mana value X or less from among cards revealed this way without paying its mana cost. Yeah, so this is in the Chaos deck, but really beautiful art for this. Very good stuff, where it's like you're just getting like a free, cheaper spell. Chaos Warp, I absolutely adore the art on this for Chaos Warp. So Chaos Warp just lets you like shuffle a permanent into its library, and then its owner then gets to like flip over the top card if it's a permanent they put on the battlefield. So that could go good for you. It could also go really bad. Rain of Riches, create 2 treasures. The first spell you cast each turn, that mana from a treasure was spent to cast has Cascade, which is very powerful. It's also just a big enchantment, so it is effectively a creature as long as you have Bellow, which is great. Outpost Siege. Enters, you gotta choose Khans or Dragons. So this is the one where at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library until the end of turn you may play that card. Or whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to any target. We don't have a ton of creatures leaving the battlefield, so I would say that you probably choose the top one there just to kind of keep things going. Berserker's Onslaught is an enchantment. Attacking creatures you control have double strike. Very powerful. Just give all your attacking creatures double strike. And, of course, it is an enchantment that could attack with Indestructible. Gonna have Indestructible double strike is pretty powerful. This does say whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, it goes on their ability, so like you could draw a lot of cards off of that. This deck seems great, dude. Alchemist Talent, this is another one with it's enough mana value. When it enters, create 2 tap treasure tokens, then 1 in a red. Treasures you control tap, sacrifice, add 2 mana. That's powerful. Just a gold span dragon on an enchantment. Then whenever you cast a spell, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast it, this class deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to each opponent. Ooh, very powerful too with the big cost of spells that we've got going on. This deck is doing a lot of what this deck wants to do. I think it's very well crafted. Pyre Swipe Hawk. 5 mana, 4/4 flying haste. Whenever it attacks, gets plus over X is the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. Okay, so that can get pretty big. Whenever you expend 6, gain control of up to 1 target artifact for as long as you control. Oh, nice. You can get a lot of artifacts from this. That's nice too. Stealing artifacts is very powerful in this deck, especially if it's mana value 4 or more, because then you can smack them with their own artifacts. Here we have the Prosperous Bandit, 3 mana, 2/2 with Offspring. First strike, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create that many tap treasure tokens. So you want to buff this guy somehow. I don't know how, but you want to buff this guy somehow. If you have a way. I think it's powerful in the right deck. I don't know if it's doing what we want in this deck, but hey, I don't know. There it is. The Cheap Atali. Whenever it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana cost. Very powerful. Very good to get hasted out there. So if there's a way to give it haste, that's always very powerful. But yeah, I mean, if you get the trigger off of that, it's just kind of a win. Here we have our full art card. So it's not the other commander that's full art. In this case, they gave us another planeswalker here. I do love this version of him. I don't know what the normal one looks like. This is like Domri or Domri. I'm gonna go with Domri. That was my first instinct. Anarch of Bolas. 1 and a Gruul. Creatures you control get +1/+0. That's great. Add a red or a green. Creature spells you cast this turn can't be countered. Very powerful. And then target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. So some removal on a stick here, which is pretty good too. I like that, especially because of our goal of having big creatures. And then last but certainly not least, we've got an alt commander here coming up. Flippity Doodah in Wild Seer. Oh my god, I'm hitting the mic. Cards are falling down. Things are going crazy over here. Wild Seer, Scoring Maw. 5 mana, 3 and a Gruul, trample, 6/6. Enchantment spells you cast from your hand have Cascade. Very powerful. Kind of does what this deck wants to do. Get stuff onto the battlefield. I think it fits in the deck well enough. I mean, this would certainly be a good enough card in the deck, so I'm not going to complain. Definitely a kind of a different vibe if you put it as the commander. You're going to want to play basically just enchantments, right? But in this case, still very solid with Bellow as the commander. And that's it. You know, we go and we grab this stack over here, and we have a completed Bellow Bard of the Brambles deck that I, for one, am very excited about. I think this came together really nicely. I've heard that this deck absolutely, like, stomps out of the box, but I've also just heard that the Bloomburrow decks are really good in general. Super stoked to play it. Super excited to play it. I think that, generally speaking, this one's going to be a lot of fun. It seems very synergistic, and I think I probably got to land, like, probably lands about like an 8 for me. I'm very, very excited to play this deck. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. We've got one more section of this video, so I'm going to set this off to the side. We will come back to it, and I will ask for your opinion on it again, and we'll see if my 8 changes. I mean, it could probably change, but I don't know. I'll think about it. But we do have something very important to get to, which is the coveted Collector Booster Sample Pack. So let's break into this. And I have my own phone somewhere off screen to look up the prices for me to predict. Cards are flying. Yep. Well, that's fine. All right, we broke into it. Let's see what we pulled. So we know that the bottom card is always a nothing, just add cards. Nobody wants that. Get out of here. Then we flip over our common or uncommon. In this case, it's a... Is this not supposed to be Strike Force? Is that a typo? Strike Force? I always thought it was Strike Force. Anyway, Strike Force. Maybe that's not a typo. I don't know. 2 and a white, 1/3 flying double strike vigilant bird knight is pretty cool. I like the foil on it too. I'm assuming that that's not worth much. I'm going to say it's worth 12 cents even foiled. Let us check. I need to pull up my mana box because I wasn't ready for it. Let's see. We got to go search. Sets. Got to go back to Bloomburrow. And... no, it's not a typo. It is just Strike Force. Foil is 9 cents. So I said, what, 12? I wasn't too far off. And then we flippity-doo-dah here into... ooh! I do believe I already have this one. But it is a cool art for it. Season of the Burrow. The full art for it here. 5 mana mythic. Choose up to 5 little paws worth of modes. You may choose the same mode more than once. So I could make up to 5 1/1 rabbits. Could do twice exile target non-land permanent. Its controller draws a card. Or 3 return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield with, notably, an indestructible counter on it. I mean, pretty good, all things considered. This could go in a lot of decks for a lot of reasons. Especially if you just wanted to play this out as like 5 mana, make 5 rabbits. You know, in certain decks, that's going to do a lot. I actually don't think Season of the Burrow is one of the expensive ones here. I think some of the other ones were more valuable. I do think the full art probably helps. So I'm going to say like $4 probably on Season of the Burrow full art. Come on, Bloomburrow. Show me the money. You'd love to see it. I don't know if it will, though. Season of the Burrow full art here is $280. 280. Okay. Well, you know, it's not as bad as Season of the Bold, which is worth like nothing. So we'll take it. 280. It does something. I mean, it's definitely not like a chase mythic for sure, but I mean, 280. There you go. We pulled actual value. So yeah, let's get these off to the side. Let's grab the deck and we will end the video there. Okay, well, the deck kind of fell apart and I don't feel like picking it up right now. So we're just going to throw a bellow on top and we're going to bring it back over here and I'll pick it up later after the video's off. But yeah, that is the deck. I stand behind my excitement of an 8. I'm super stoked to play this. I think this deck, well, it seems put together well. There's obviously an upgrade path, but it's not Family Matters where I'm like, man, this just feels like it was built poorly. Built poorly compared to what it could be. I think there's clear upgrades, but it also seems very powerful. I'm super stoked to play this. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. Let me know. Am I wrong? Am I right? What do you think? Any and all of it's greatly appreciated. If you haven't joined the Rollsicle family, give us a like, give us a comment, give us a subscribe. We'd love to have you hang out with us in all of our future videos. We'd love to have you go check out all the previous videos. So lots of content here on the channel for you guys. We try to put out a video every single day. So we'd love to have you check that out. This is what we've got for you in this one, though. So we'll see you guys in whatever comes next. Until then, may those rolls be ever in your favor. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye, y'all.